Welcome back. As we promised in our intro that we are going to tackle the feast from different prospects. Of course, we wish that all the Egyptians, all the Arab and Islamic nations are going to enjoy Eid filled with joy, prosperity, peace, stability, but here we should talk, or we will talk to be accurate, about Eid as an occasion to promote tourism, whether local tourism or international tourism or regional tourism. Let's talk and in detail with our expert live here in the studio, our tourism expert, our historian, our Egyptologist, Mr. Ihab Kamel. A very good morning to you, sir, and happy Eid first.
Thank you. Good morning. Same to you.
Good morning, Mr. Ihab. Mr. Ihab, to start with, of course, today is the first day of the Feast of Sacrifice. Ahead of this occasion, the Ministry of Tourism do certain preparations for the tourism sector. How do you see these preparations and how these occasions are representing a boost to the tourism sector in general?
Of course, we have to talk on two different levels,
Yes,
the internal or the local
yes, and
tourism and international. As for the local tourism, it's supposed to be a steady season. It's not that we are surprised that the Eid is coming, so it's something usual, and it's part of the measures and the procedures that the Ministry of Tourism takes every year to guarantee the comfort of the local traveler. Of course, because the local traveler's holiday agenda, it's fixed.
Yeah.
It's known from the beginning of the year. Well, actually, it's known since a very long time because it's related to the national holidays. As a matter of fact, there are traditional destinations like Alexandria, like Sharm el-Sheikh, like Hurghada, like Marsa Matruh, especially in the summer. But we have to understand or to change the culture of the local traveler. Up till now, I haven't seen local travelers going, for example, to the Bahariya Oasis or Siwa or Farafra, despite that these destinations in the winter are very pleasant and there's lots to see and the weather is magnificent. It's warm, it's nice, and it's a healthy atmosphere. I believe that with the local traveler we have to change their culture a little bit so that they would know their country better. And of course, the more they know their country, the more attached they become, the more appreciating they become for their country. And at the same time, make them just come out of these closed boxes into a healthier environment, which I believe we still have some time to change that kind of culture. But we're hoping soon.
Yes, indeed.
Inshallah. Sir, regarding the locations, as you've kindly mentioned, maybe it's because we still consider them that far, but with the new network of roads, with the infrastructure, I think it's going to attract more people to go. But I think it's our media, it's the role of media, because maybe there is some I'm not going to say negligence, but lack of propaganda for such places. I don't know if you agree with me on this or no.
No, I agree with you 100%. That's that not many people know about these places.
For example, what I can enjoy in Siwa, rather than the Shali temples, or rather than the products of Siwa.
Shali, also the Temple of Alexander, the Temple of the Oracle, the hot spring of Cleopatra, driving in the Great Sand Sea. This is a joy by itself.
The whole environment is quite relaxing and beautiful.
Yes, walking into the town of Siwa at night with the spotlights on Old Shali and sitting over there, having a meal in one of the local restaurants and having a walk. It's like you're in a time machine. Beside that, the environment is very healthy, the air is very
healthy
clear.
And relaxing. But that would bring you, Sir Yasser, to ask about the fact that most of the Egyptians, they do go to the same places in the same occasions. We tend to do that very much. We do not explore. We do not think out of the box. How can we change that? Because we do go to all the places all together, and that makes the places crowded, and we don't enjoy because of the crowd, and we get not a very good service because of the crowd. So how can we change this mindset?
This is a better reason for changing
Exactly.
our holiday destinations,
Yes.
because usually because of the crowd you don't get the proper standard of service.
is.
So usually we end up complaining and we
Exactly.
end up being unhappy. But we have to think out of the box. We have to show our children something
places,
else,
new
new places. So basically this can be done through media, through maybe through the Ministry of Tourism and their publicity campaigns directed to the local market. I believe there are many ways, even at the schools. I think we should introduce into school curriculums something called tourism. Not only introducing new destinations, but how to treat the travelers, how to treat the tourist destinations or the holiday destinations where we go, how to handle them properly, how to preserve these places from an environmental point of view.
Yeah.
This is something that will add a lot to our knowledge and will produce a new generation that is so aware of the importance of tourism, and those are the generation who will be really the explorers, who will tell you one day we're going to spend our holiday in Siwa or in Bahariya or in Farafra.
But sir, don't you think that this is for not for the children or the teens? The children and the teens, for example, they want to go more to the beach. They want to go to the sea sports. But to enjoy such places, I think this needs another age category, if I may say so. Because, for example, in their late 20s or 30s, you are going to find people who are addicts of the white desert, for example, of spending some nights in the desert. They return back with such purified souls, and they are describing the issue. Meditation there, having this kind of safari, stuff like that. But for children and teens, I don't think that this is going to meet their needs.
Children maybe, but teens, who said so? In the teen,
Let us know. This is what I wanted
in
to
the
know.
teen age, this is the age of exploration.
Indeed.
At that time, their minds are like a sponge. It absorbs everything. They want to know about everything. We call them nosy,
Yeah.
but actually they're not. They just want to know. They're eager to know. They're young, they want to know, they have the physique, and at the same time, they are ready to know and accept new places and new cultures. You know, as we grow older, we become very classical. Our ability to accept changes becomes much less. But at that age, no, they want to explore, they want to have an adventure. And I'm not saying that I'm going to let them sleep in the desert for 10 days, for example. No, but actually try new places. Also, try to know a lot about the forgotten parts of their country. I've seen many teenagers in the oasis, and and most of them were coming from Alexandria because it was closer to Siwa. And I was surprised that they were very happy. And when I asked them, do you enjoy it over here? They say yes. And I discovered that lots of them, they come on regular basis. We have to change the culture of the local traveler. Mind you that the local traveler also creates a business for those places
Of course.
in the times of crisis and gaps, although we cannot depend on the local traveler 100% because there are certain conditions. for this.
But it's a part which we should not miss.
Yes, but still it cannot replace the foreign
No,
tourism.
Of
Sure.
course.
It cannot at all, because in Egypt we do not have the criteria to create an internal tourism that would replace international
We need
tourism.
hard currency, by all means.
Yes, and you need a certain type of annual income. The only way that this tourism can have an impact better than international tourism, it's when you have an individual whose annual income is more than $12,000 a year. This is not me saying this. This is the World Travel
Yes, of course.
Organization.
Yes.
But still, it can fill some gaps. Basically speaking, we need also to change the culture of the local traveler. Forget about the elderly generations. What had happened had happened. It's the younger generations from school, television, radio. Make them cultural competitions and to get to know their country. I believe the first time I went to the desert, I was 20 years old. By the age of 24, I had seen every part of Egypt. And at that time, nobody had heard about these parts. I was very much surprised to see such beautiful places. Even in Sinai, we go always to Sharm el-Sheikh. Why especially Sharm el-Sheikh? There's no Ihab, there's Dahab.
Now Dahab is a big
It's
hit.
booming.
Yes.
It had been chosen as one of the most beautiful beaches in the world
Yes.
because it hasn't been badly abused. It's environmentally up to the standards. Taba, Marsa Alam.
Yes, that would bring me to ask about Marsa Alam, because it's one of the most magnificent places that the person can see in his whole life, and yet it is not properly market in the market or in the international market or even in the local market. So how can we promote better for Marsa Alam and not abuse it?
This is a very good question. Not abuse Marsa Alam, because Marsa Alam, it's a huge natural conservatory,
Yes.
especially in the area of Wadi Kamel and the mangroves. This is an area we have to preserve by all means.
Yes.
Marsa Alam, it's a hidden treasure. Maybe it's because it's too far, but it started to become promoted. Now we have direct flights coming from Europe, from different European countries,
Marsa Alam
to Marsa Alam, especially after we had made an airport, an international airport over there. It's not very well known to the Egyptians, but it's very well known to the Europeans. But let me tell you what Marsa Alam is. Marsa Alam, it's not the beach. Marsa Alam, as well as the beaches, you have the desert part. You can see over there a magnificent conservatory for birds. It's the only place where I saw the Egyptian vulture, which is depicted on the Egyptian temples. I saw it there for real. You see scenes over there, you cannot believe that they're in Egypt. You're very close to Mount Elba, which is a green area in the middle of the desert between Egypt and the Sudan, from Shalatin. An area you can hardly believe that it exists in Egypt. You can still see the vultures picking fish from the sea and flying away. You see this only on National Geographic.
Yes.
You can see this in Marsa Alam because over there they still preserve the environment. And honestly, those who had built the hotels over there are very keen on keeping the environment.
So we want to keep it this way.
This way, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because this is the trademark of Marsa Alam. An amazing spot, and many travelers from different countries, they come by charter flights directly over there. we need to encourage the Egyptians.
So a piece of advice, let's name some wonderful spots which you are inviting now all Egyptians, all people from around the world to be accurate, to visit in their vacations. And it's for just 3 to 4 days. I mean, no more than that. Where to go?
Dahab,
Number 1.
Marsa Alam,
Number 2.
Siwa.
Then Dahab, Marsa Alam, Siwa. This is an invitation from Nile TV, from breakfast show today. Go there and you're never gonna regret that. Well, Mr. Ihab, Kamel, thank you very much for your input, sir. Have a very good Eid. Inshallah, it's gonna be filled with joy, with happiness, with prosperity, with every single nice thing ever. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ihab. Always a pleasure, and have a wonderful Eid. Our dear viewers will go to a short break, and after that we'll be back to resume the segments of the breakfast show, so stay tuned.